Dear audience, Assalamu alaikum. This is Asif Rahman Khan and you're watching Bodoler Slogan on Bijoy TV. It is a global organization which operates in over 200 countries and territories with 1.2 million members across the globe. It clocks in about 16 million voluntary hours every year, and its crowning achievement was when the organization successfully immunized 2.5 billion children against polio. It has been recognized by UNICEF and WHO as a key partner in the eradication of polio. Such is the importance of the organization that USA actually printed a stamp which commemorated the organization's 50th anniversary. Without any more delay, I would like to start our conversation with Mr. Rafael M Garcia III. Hi, Mr. Garcia.
Hello.
You have joined this organization in 1971. That's approximately 14 years before I was even born. So can you tell, in your own words, how you joined Rotary International and how you became the International Director for Rotary International?
Well, actually, I was invited for lunch by a good friend of mine who was the president of the electric distribution transformer company of the largest power company in the Philippines. This was Manila Electric Company. I had set up the computer system for Manila Electric Company, and I had just joined the company. So I thought I was just going to lunch, and this was in the conference room of the largest newspaper at that time, the Manila Chronicle, and their editor-in-chief was a member of this Rotary Club. And so I was introduced, and they said, "This is Rafi Garcia. He has recently joined the Manila Electric Company. He is vice president in charge of data processing." And everyone started saying, let's induct him, let's induct him. So I didn't know what they were talking about. And then my friend said, "Okay, please stand up. Raise your right hand and repeat after me." I said, "What are you talking about?" So they inducted me right then and there, and that is how I became a Rotarian when I was 25 years old in 1971. But for 35 years, I enjoyed the fellowship, but I didn't want to do the work that Rotarians were supposedly doing. I refused to be elected, nominated, appointed, or whatever to any position. So whenever they would try, I would just pay my way. I would say, "Okay, how many scholarships do you want me to pay for? What project do you want me to pay for?" And so for 35 years, that's the way I did it. Finally, in 2005, when I came to a meeting, they said, "Well, while you were absent, we elected you president of the club." I said, "Well, I'm not accepting it." They said, No, you cannot decline it now. The club is dying. We need you to bring it back." I said, what are you talking about?" They said, "Well, our membership has declined from 98 to 35. So we need you to bring it back." So I said, "Okay, I will take on the challenge, but we all need to work because it will take a lot of work." And then I raised the membership from 35 to 78 in my year as president. And we were the most outstanding club. I was the most outstanding president of our district. And so afterwards, we received 37 district awards. I was honored by Rotary International with the 4 Avenues of Service award. And so I was very happy. And then they said, "Okay, now you have to run for governor." I said, No. We only agreed 1 year. 1 year as president. No. You're the only one that has ever had a chance to be governor in a long time. So you owe it to the club to run for governor. So again, I ran for governor. And again, I won. And so I served in 2011, 2012. And I did a very good job as a governor. And then people started to push me to other things. First of all, was appointed as an EMGA by Rotary International. That's an endowment and major gifts advisor. That's one of the guys that chases people looking for funds and getting people to contribute. I had already by that time become a member of the Arts Club Society, and I had given $250,000 to the Rotary Foundation. The following year, I was asked by the chairman of the Rotary Foundation at that time if I would step up to the chair circle, which is $500,000. I happened to have money at that time, so I said sure. So I stepped up and gave $500,000. And it's been a fast track ever since. The last 10 to 12 years, I've zoomed from president to RI director. And if you can imagine that I was just a Rotarian in name only for 35 years, and to be where I am now, it just takes dedication, and I had to give up all my work. I turned over all my companies to my children, and I've been selling my company since, my overseas companies anyway. And that's where I've been giving a lot of my money that I've been giving to the Rotary Foundation.
Mr. Garcia, can you please tell us what is the prospect of Rotary in Bangladesh from your viewpoint as a veteran Rotarian?
As I was telling many of the past district governors that I met with this morning, I am totally amazed at the growth of Rotary here in Bangladesh. And I'm excited about the enthusiasm that I've seen here among the older Rotarians and even the younger Rotarians. Bangladesh is one of the rising stars of the Rotary world. It's one of the fastest growing areas in Rotary. And as I was telling the past district governors, I intend to do everything that I can to help Rotary in Bangladesh to grow and grow even more. Because similar to the Philippines, Bangladesh experiences a lot of problems, a lot of disasters. There are a lot of people who need a lot of help, and that is where Rotary can really do some good here in this part of the world. And the other areas in the world where you have people contributing money, in the United States, for example, in Europe, most of them do good in their own areas, but try to do good somewhere else around the world. And that's where Rotary comes in. We could be giving grants here in Bangladesh to fund things and projects that are trying to help people who are in need here. And this is why it becomes even more exciting. I intended to sit down with the governors here and guide them on some of the things that they could be doing to be able to tap many of the funds that are available through Rotary. Because that's the reason why people like me give to Rotary, is to find ways of doing good, and the best way to do it is to give the money to the Rotary Foundation and let the clubs all over the world apply for the use of those funds.
So, have you changed the practice of how people are recruited for Rotary? Like before, it was a very exclusive thing. Has that practice changed?
I believe it has changed considerably. Many of the older clubs, for example, still have their elitist attitude. And you have to remember that in the beginning, Rotary was an all-male organization. But in 1987, we opened it up to women. But despite that, for example, worldwide, we have only reached about 22% female. And the Rotary International Board at the last board meeting decided that we are setting a goal of 30% by 2023. And those of us who come from this part of the world, we're just laughing at them because we said, we don't need to set that kind of an objective or that kind of a goal for India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, or Philippines, or even the other countries here in Asia, because it naturally comes. We don't have problems with having women in our organization, unlike the United States or other areas where men believe that it's a male organization. So women should be in Inner Wheel or in Zonta or in Soroptimist. But you see, Rotary is trying to do the most good to everything in the world, and that means it needs all the demographics. It needs the young, it needs the old, it needs females, it needs male, even LGBTs are welcome.
Rotary International has been working on the issue of polio for the last few decades, immunizing 2.5 billion children across the world. The organization would have been nominated for Nobel Prize had not there been a few cases left in places like Afghanistan, Pakistan. How do you plan to go forward in this situation?
Well, we're proceeding on our polio endgame. There are now only 3 countries in the world that still have polio. Nigeria, by August of this year, will already be declared polio-free. It means that it has not had any cases of wild polio virus for 3 years. And that would mean Africa is polio-free.
Right.
The only problem that is left is Afghanistan and Pakistan. And both countries are in conflict situations, especially Afghanistan. There are also people who use their religion to try and make immunization difficult. And there are people who accuse the polio vaccine people who are giving the polio vaccine to children as witches. And so many of these workers have in fact been killed or been hurt by these people, and it has made immunization that much more difficult. But we're now talking of a very small corner of the world. If you can imagine, in 1985, 86, there were 350,000 cases of polio every year. And now we're down to 20 or 30 cases a year. Unfortunately, this particular year, 2019, we have exceeded the number of cases that we had last year, which is a bad sign. But in talking to the health experts, they feel that this is part of the end game, really. We expect to have these kinds of glitches as we try and finish off what will only be the second disease in the history of mankind to be eradicated. Mm-hmm. And we believe we are almost there. We believe that history is about to be made, and we know we will eradicate polio. We will fulfill our promise to the children of the world that they do not have to be threatened by this disease ever again.
Can you share how Rotarians across the world are helping children who are orphaned or traumatized by conflict, or even child soldiers?
Well, one of the major objectives and areas of focus of Rotary is peace and conflict resolution. We have Rotary universities around the world where we train people in peace and conflict resolution. We have not come up with a program that directly applies to the children that have been traumatized by conflict. I suppose that is an area that Rotary could start looking into, but at the present time, I'm not aware of any specific program. We try to do things for children. For example, in the Philippines, the only Filipino that has ever been a Rotary International President, Mat Caparas, encouraged all of the clubs in the Philippines to celebrate July 1, which is what we call the Rotary New Year. He said we should celebrate the Rotary New Year with children, so that the children will recognize Rotary as the organization that does good and that helps children. So yesterday, for example, all the clubs in the Philippines, all over, had parties. The parties were either with elementary schools or in children's hospitals, where children with cancer or some disease that may be terminal or where the children can then get some happiness by being with Rotarians. We bring them to fast foods like McDonald's and Burger King, and they celebrate, and it's Rotary New Year after all.
Can you please tell us how you see the evolution of the Rotary organization, and how do you see, how will the organization be in, like, say, 10 years?
You know, in my speech last night to the installation of District 3281, I started by asking the question that most of us have been asked over and over again, and that is, what is wrong with Rotary? Why have we stagnated at 1.2 million for the last 15 years? But I don't see this as a sign that I should be worried about. Not the way so many people seem to be worried about it. I believe that this is part of the way Rotary is developing. In the United States, for example, Rotary was very prestigious before, but now it doesn't seem to be. But here in Bangladesh, Rotary is prestigious. To be a Rotarian is prestigious. In the Philippines, for example, we have clubs where Rotary is really prestigious. It is elitist. You cannot join. You will not be invited unless you belong to the top 3 positions of a top corporation.
Can you please share with us some of your most memorable occasions in your 35 journey with the Rotary International?
Actually, those are Rotary, what we call Rotary Moments. And to me, one of the biggest Rotary moments that I had was when we were giving free cataract operations. I was a district governor then, and I started by giving free cataract operations to 10 people every month. So we were going to do it for 120 for the 12 months. And we already had filled up the tent for that particular month when this woman came running to me, and she was crying, and she was saying, please, 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 please include my husband because he can't see anymore. And we said, well, we already have the 10, can you come next month? No, he says, I cannot wait until next month because he cannot see, and he's all alone at the house, and something could happen to him. Please, 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 he says. So I went to the surgeon, and I asked him, can we still accommodate one? And he said, sure. So we accommodated him. And I didn't see him again until the following month when we were again doing another batch of 10. Then All of a sudden he showed up and he came to me, and the wife was with him, and the wife said, Sir, we came here to thank you. Thank you very much. You know, my husband can now see. And the husband came to me and said, Sir, I didn't know you were so handsome. Now I can see. Thank you very much. I was laughing. It's not enough. It cost almost 3 billion was the final end game.
3 billion?
Yeah.
Oh, why is that? I thought there were just 20 or 30 cases.
Because you still have to immunize all the children that you've immunized before, because otherwise they can get infected. You know, and you have people who are transiting through Afghanistan and Pakistan, and that's where you have the risks. And right now we're also combating what they call the vaccine-derived polio, because we've been vaccinating people with the oral vaccine.
Right.
And that has opened up the possibility of getting vaccine-derived polio.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever we have an outbreak of vaccine-derived polio, we start using injectable polio vaccine. So, and immediately we erase the outbreak. But
sounds like a huge obstacle.
very soon, it'll all be injectable.
Right.
Because that will totally remove the possibility of the vaccine-derived.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Audience, thank you for being with us. I hope you have enjoyed the show as much as I have. If there are any Rotarians among you, please do not forget to share this video on your social media accounts. Thank you again, and goodbye for now.